Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. So in this video I'm going to have a quick summary about the algorithm that usually happen within coding interviews. So to prepare the algorithm part of the coding interview, I will suggest you to go through the following steps. So first of all, watch this video, and during the time you watch this video, if you forget about some of the algorithms, feel free to find your textbook and refresh your mind, because this video is not meant to teach you how each algorithm works, but rather to give you a summary or a list of the algorithms. And then I will suggest you to go through a couple of the questions in the playlist of my channel. So for example, if you forget how DFS works, or you want to get a impression about what the DFS questions are like, feel free to go through a couple of the videos within this channel. So the last one I would suggest you to do is to do some real practice. Do some coding work on top of some questions you feel uncomfortable with. So for example, if you're uncomfortable with DP or dynamic programming, feel free to do some practice to enhance that part. So let's get started. So the first thing I want to mention, so the first thing I want to mention is, so there are some questions asking about finding the optimal stuff. When I say optimal, it's something like, find maybe the largest or smallest or longest, so something like that. So for this kind of question, usually there are a list of the algorithm you can choose from depending on what the questions are. So it could be about greedy algorithm, or it could be you just use recursion plus backtracking to search the whole space, or it could be DFS. Actually, DFS is based on recursion, or it could be BFS, or it could be dynamic programming. So for this part, I would suggest you to really prepare. I would suggest you to take some serious preparation about this part, because it happens very often within real coding interviews. So the next thing that is worth to mention for some array questions or some string questions or some list questions, there is a very common algorithm called two-pointer approach. So for example, you could have like a slow pointer and fast pointer, or you can have the left pointer and right pointer to manage an area. So if you have a left pointer and the right pointer to manage an area, then it comes to the algorithm called sliding window. So sliding window is a special version of the two-pointer approach. And also there is something like a binary search, which is which happens pretty often. So you may want to take a look at you may want to take some practice on top of these algorithms by choosing the problem and do some practice. And then there's some algorithm which happens also pretty often, is some questions about topology. So for example, it could be topology, usually it's about topology sorting. And also there are some algorithms asking about minimum spanning tree algorithm. It could be Kruskal, which is pretty famous, and also it's very rare to be asked about Dijkstra algorithm, but because usually you could just use DFS to solve that kind of the problem, but you may want to have like a review of this kind of the famous algorithm to get an impression about the underlying idea or the intuitive idea about it. So this can be helpful as well. So then I think for the tree problem, something worth to mention is that you may want to have a review about like the pre-order traversal, in-order traversal, post-order traversal, So both the recursion and the non-recursion version, how to implement that. And also I think there is some other things, like for example how to generate like tree generation, how to generate a tree from like two arrays, or how to like compression, how to compress the whole tree into some data structure, so something like that. So I think that covers pretty much about this part. And also there, I think for sorting, which is also a very important part, you don't really need to remember like how you write bubble sort, how you write quick sort, but there are some algorithms which happens quite often during the coding interview, and also you can leverage the intuitive idea underlying those kind of the sorting algorithm to solve other kinds of questions. So two things I want to mention. One is called bucket sorting, and also another one is called merge sort. So those are the two things you can borrow the idea to solve questions not really related to sorting, but so that's about this part. And also there is one thing I want to mention, which is about sampling. So for sampling, I think I only went through like one or two questions about that, but I think it's also, but it's real questions in real interviews. So I think it's worth to take some time to take a look at the corresponding algorithm. One is called random reservoir sampling, or reservoir sampling, and the other one is called rejection sampling. So those are the general algorithms I can think about. So hopefully this is a complete list of the algorithms. If you have any other algorithm you think that's worth to mention, feel free to leave some comments below. And if you like this video, please help subscribe to this channel. I'll see you next time, and good luck for your interview preparation.